Hello and welcome to Completely Off Topic with Susan Serrao, a podcast where I talk to Calgary-based female artists about their body of work that they're creating. Today we have a beautiful singer-songwriter, Sonia Deleo. So welcome and thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
So we had kind of an interesting way of meeting.
Yes, we did. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes. So obviously we have actually the same talent agent.
Yes.
Details. And we are both actors, and I've seen you and followed you on Instagram for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And then we were both in the waiting room in our bathrobes at this beautiful spa. And I was like, oh my God, I know you. And then you were like, I don't know if you really.
Yeah, no, I knew you.
recognized me or
Yes,
not,
I
but-
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took us a minute and then,
Yeah. And then we did the most ridiculous thing I've ever done with anybody in my life.
Are we talking about it? Are we not talking about it? I can't tell if we're talking about
Let's talk about it. Let's do it. We're gonna be vulnerable and open here. Okay. So we were models.
Yes.
For a, what is it, like an educational? I don't think we use the
For a
brand.
workshop for like a fat blasting technology.
Yes, fat blasting. And I was chosen for my beautiful mother of four stomach.
And I was chosen for my luscious inner thighs.
Oh, yeah, it's very nice. And yeah, so we met in our robes, and then we obviously like, oh, you're here too, great.
Yes.
And then I was like basically thinking, I wonder if therapy is going to work today and help me through this day of people grabbing my stomach and pulling on it and talking about my fat pockets. And it was terrible.
It was pretty rough. It was nice to have breaks where we could debrief together, though.
Yeah, and then Angela was there too. And I know Angela from dancing and growing up. She was the chin.
No, she was arms.
Was she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought she was
Oh, was it
this.
chin? I don't know. Now I don't know. But I
doesn't
thought it was
matter.
arms. Anyway.
But she was like, I just meditate the whole time. I just stand there and meditate.
I was grateful because they kept calling me strong. Everyone in the class was like, wow, you really have some muscle under there.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you so
thanks,
much.
guys.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez, it's so I got totally insulted, this one woman. And not like, I actually am like, fine, do whatever you want to your body. Like whatever makes you feel good, do it. So she had like the eyelashes and the lips and the Botox and the bleached blonde hair and the fake boobs and whatever. And she was like happy and content, and she'd done, and the nails and everything. Totally fine. Do your thing. And like gorgeous, right? Anyhow, she actually from the back of the room was like, why does your stomach look so weird?
Are you serious?
She said that to me.
Oh my
in front of
gosh, she's
everybody.
got everything but an edit button.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
That's
so
hilarious.
So anyhow, then they come up and they kind of like, pull at your stomach to see where they would put the little templates to like freeze your stomach. And she was like, oh, I just don't know. I just don't know what to do with this. And she's like, she looks up and she's like, I would never say this to a client. I'm like, you're literally talking about my body in front of me. Like, do you think
I am pretending to be your client?
I am actually, yes, being your client? Anyhow, and at the end she came up to me and was like, hey, I'm gonna give you a 50% off, which actually poached me as a client from the person who was doing all of the education, because she kept trying to tell me how what a great job she could do on my stomach. And I was like, actually guys, I used to be a dancer. I'm at peace with how this looks.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, that's hilarious. One of them also gave me a discount thing.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
get in touch.
Yeah.
Get in touch if you want to sort that out.
Yes. Oh, please.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, I was actually there for the food. It was really good.
And I felt totally fine eating it because
my
I was
God.
like, they need the body I have. So
yeah, I am actually helping your
I'm
business.
going to have some snacks.
Yeah. I can use some more, please. Can I get another? Bring it over here.
It was fun.
good.
Yeah.
But then
Weird
I went
day.
and saw you perform at the Ironwood in Inglewood, iconic stage, and it was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
That was a
'cause
very fun night.
that was like, that wasn't a normal night because you were doing storytelling along with it.
Yeah, so it depends on the situation, but that night I decided, so I've played the Ironwood before with my full band or only with bands or stuff. So I wanted to challenge myself specifically to see how it felt to like take up the space and the stage by myself,
Right.
specifically there, because I don't know, it's just one of those little things I wanted to prove I could do, basically. And so it was a very beautiful, very kind audience. And yeah, it's when I have an intimate setting, when I can create that vibe, I like to tell the stories and then sing the songs. I think it adds something, and the banter and the interaction and stuff like that is means a lot to me. So it's nice to have the chance to do that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank
I
you.
went with my friend Lori, and she was like, "What's going on? Is she from Calgary? What is this? This is fantastic." And afterwards, I came home and I got the album, and then I was telling my kids, and I was like, "What do you guys think about this? Okay, so this is the story that goes with the song."
I love
like that song. Oh, what was the one? The one where you? Sorry, I should know the names of your songs. I'm one of these people that I listen to it, so I know all the lyrics and I know all the music, but I never look to see what the song is called. It's
Okay, yeah,
It's
you
the
can
one
like sing a little part of it if you want.
Oh my God, I would never.
And I can tell you.
I would never do it. I'm so embarrassed. It's the one where you were like, this woman came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, I feel like that when I look at my boyfriend, like if she can't look at me, how can he love me?" But you're like, actually, it's a song about myself. And I loved that story.
Yeah, it was that's Turnaround Baby, it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's yeah, it was written as a pep talk to me. The cool thing about I think art in general is that, and often for my songs, is they sort of morph. Even during writing, sometimes the meaning changes as I go. And that song was neat because I started writing it, and when I was having sort of a weird time, and one of those times where I felt kind of give uppy and like it was hard to get up each day and just keep pressing on. And so it was like just me trying to pep talk myself, and then which is rare. I don't write about me very often. But then halfway through writing that song, I ended up, I was doing better, and my sister was sort of going through a different sort of hard time. And so I feel when I play it, like sometimes I feel like it's really for her. Sometimes I feel like I needed that message that day. And then it's very interesting hearing what other people get from it, because it is almost never what was intended to begin with, which is awesome.
Well, and it's also like very soulful and almost sexy. Like,
right.
so it's also got like a lot of that edgy feeling. Like, I love it because
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my God, I love you so much. And I just think you're so amazing.
Can we just do this the whole time?
Can you be my friend? Okay, so last time I saw you, we were talking with Meg outside of her garage, and we were talking about boys. Are you dating anybody right now?
No.
What is the weirdest date you've been on this year?
I don't know how to. Okay. I went on one where I met this person very briefly in like a social setting, sort of online first. Then we realized we'd be at events that were like beside each other downtown. So we were like, oh, let's just say hi. So we did that, and then we decided to go for dinner the following weekend. And he was an ex-NFL CFL player, and I showed up for dinner at 7 p.m. and he was wasted. Stumbling, mumbling, drunk, and then started crying immediately when I arrived.
What's his name?
So
I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
I spent about 15 minutes consoling this sobby, messy stranger.
So beautiful.
And then I was like, I have to go. And he said, yeah, that makes sense. And I was like,
what was he crying about?
Okay. He was crying about how hard it is to be someone who was once in the spotlight and who is now not. And he actually shared some pretty vulnerable stuff, so I won't talk about all of it. But yeah, it was very sad. I actually left feeling pretty sad and compassionate, but also was kind of like, please don't contact me ever again.
You are not okay
This is
right
not
now.
my mess. Yeah. You have a mess, and I hope it works out. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm practicing letting other people's stuff be theirs.
This is something, okay, my Reiki masseuse,
Yes.
she says I need to work on this. She says that I carry other people's stories on my shoulders all of the time. And then I'm like, well, I have 4 sons. And she's like, oh. And she's like, you're just going to have to keep working on this.
Right. Well, it's the parent thing, but I also think, so I'm a massage therapist as well and have been for 17 years. And so it was a lot of practice to and I have to properly, I have to sometimes in advance. Often I can see someone come in the door of the clinic and I'm like, ooh, that's going to be heavy. Yeah. And so I can take a minute. I often take a minute to protect myself and remind myself that whatever this is about to be is not for me.
Yours.
Yeah. And I can still help just as much without taking on anything. But I also think it's the creator in us. It's the feeler. It's the, you can't be a performer and not absorb other stories. It's just not a possible thing. So I feel like I just have accepted it, and I'm like, well, this is what I signed up for as well. So sometimes I'm gonna feel something differently, and I'm going to, you know, feel heavy or cry or laugh or whatever needs to happen. But I've just sort of accepted that fate at this point, which feels nice too.
Yeah. It's nice when you can recognize that it isn't your story or your burden to carry, right?
Yeah,
and that
totally.
you're like, and you can see that in other people and be like, man, like I've been there, or I might be there one day, so I can show you compassion. And
totally. Sometimes resources. Sometimes there are ways to help without going home with that story sitting in your belly.
Yes.
Yeah. Not an easy thing.
Yeah, and I think as an actor too, like it's just you have to be able to go there.
Yes, exactly.
And you have to be able to sit in that. Otherwise, like even in comedy, I find you have to find those dark places, because that's where comedy comes out of, right? So, yeah.
And you do have to be able to relate and be able to, allow yourself to be affected, right? Essentially. So it's, if you build up resistance to the general public, then you're probably not going to be able to do your job properly, I think.
Yeah. I remember talking to one of my mentors about it and being like, how do I, because, you know, and you play, you're this character for three weeks, like for sure, full on, or sometimes like maybe it's a 5-day run or something like that. But even months before that, you're reading it, you're getting to know the character, you're building it and stuff like this. And to sit in that for so long. And I was like, how do you get rid of the character when it's over? Like, because I always found you kind of went through like almost like a depression after like a postpartum of the play.
There's a come down thing. There's a grief.
Yeah. And I asked them, like, what do you do? And they're like, well, it's acting. You just stop. You move on with your life.
Start acting like yourself again.
I'm like, we are different actors. We have different processes.
Yeah.
And so then actually just like things like Reiki or things like massage or things like that, or like a friend of mine is like, take a hot shower at the end of the day and just wash everything off you. Let it go down the drain, and just visualizing stuff like that really helps kind of shed it.
Totally. I have like a pretty healthy meditation practice and some little ritual-y things like that I do to shake it off, for sure. And often washing it off is necessary.
Yeah.
I had one role I did where I had to, I had a miscarriage, and there was this really dramatic, very devastating series of scenes. And that one was tough. Like every night there was, there was a sort of late at night that we did most of that. And so I'd be in this house. It was kind of on this set that had several buildings. And so I'd be there, and I would just request that I could walk home. And then I would sort of shake it off on that walk, right?
Yeah.
And it was like sort of it was out in the country. So it was like really nice and fresh air and stuff. And, but even now, things like, if I have something like that happen where I feel like something's sitting on me that I don't need there, whether that's from a role or from just an audition that I'm picking apart, and I found a way to deal with that, and that is that I give myself the ride to wherever I'm going next, usually the ride home. And then when the car door closes, the next time I get out of the car, I am no longer allowed to think about that thing I just did, especially auditions.
Yeah, or dating.
Or dating. I shouldn't have said that dumb thing. But yeah, you know, because you can endlessly nitpick a performance or a social interaction.
Totally.
And
I'm a Virgo. Like, I do this with everything.
Oh, yeah? I don't know what that means. What do Virgos do?
Overthinker. Okay. Overanalyzer, perfectionist, like, like I'm like still thinking about a situation that happened on a Halloween loose moose night with another improviser, and I'm like, this is not my thing. Like, drop it. It's not even mine. But it's like, yeah.
And even if it's you that did it, who cares? You're a human being. Let it go.
Totally. I don't do anything wrong, but if I did, no. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So have you had a miscarriage?
I have not that I know of. No, no.
I've had two.
But I did tap into an abortion experience. That is what I linked to. Be able to go there and feel the loss. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And like, for me, like, my miscarriage was my first pregnancy.
Right.
And my mom never had one. My sister-in-law never had one. Everybody I knew never had one. And so I was like, immediately something's wrong with me. Like, what's wrong with me? What
which
is
is
like,
so common.
yeah. And then my boss's wife actually called me and she was like, hey, I've had miscarriages, and like talked to me. And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, it's totally normal. It means the baby. She's like, if your baby is meant to be, it's going to stick. Like, you can be chucking hay bales. People in the Holocaust had babies. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's healthy and it'll stick. And so that really helped me. And then I had Jace, and then I had another miscarriage.
Okay, yeah, also common though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cade was supposed to be a miscarriage too. Like, they told me twice that I miscarried him. And so I almost had a DNC with him. Like,
wild.
I almost had him taken out because I was like, okay, I need to move on. And then for whatever reason, on the Monday after, like Wednesday, they told me I had a miscarriage. Monday, they just had an opening for an ultrasound, a 12-week ultrasound. And I was like, I'm just gonna go do it just so I can see that there's no heartbeat and it's just gonna be closure. And I'm sitting there the whole time just waiting for them to tell me, because that was my second miscarriage. They just told me at 12 weeks that the baby was actually only 7 weeks and had been in there for like, and I was like, what?
That's
Anyhow,
bonkers.
it was crazy. So then with Cade, I'm like, I just need the closure. So I go, and the whole time I'm like, just tell me there's no heartbeat. Like, just tell me. And then at the end, she's like, okay, yeah, I'll just get my supervisor. I'm like, wait a second, sorry. What's the heartbeat like? And she's like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's healthy. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, I miscarried this baby.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, this guy's either gonna be the toughest kid I know or a complete jerk.
Right.
Like a complete jerk
Like a
for the
narcissist.
rest of his life. It's just like, hey mom, I'm miscarried. Just kidding, I'm here. No, I'm miscarried. Just kidding, I'm here. And
very rude.
And he's actually quite a good mix of those two things.
Hilarious.
He's lovely, but he's got fire for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I treat a lot of moms, so that's like I do a lot of pre and postnatal work.
Yeah.
So I've gone through miscarriages with lots of clients and all sorts of different situations. But yeah, it's a wild thing how isolated you can feel, even though it's so common. But you don't want to like minimize the experience in the middle of it by explaining that necessarily. So it's always there's a fine balance. But yeah, it's definitely very normal.
Yeah, and I have friends that like
so hard, but
yeah. But then I have friends that also like start foundations based off it, and then every year they revisit the birth of the child, and I'm like, whoa, like that to me is like, that's fine, that's their process, and a lot of people find comfort in that community. Right. But for me, it's like, okay, well, I actually need to focus on this now.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, washing
it's
that
interesting.
off.
Yeah, trying to figure out how much energy to give something like that, and to leave there and keep coming back to. It can be a lot.
Yeah, because you need to heal from it. You need to get through it. But yeah.
Yeah. Everyone does it differently.
Yeah. And so you have 2 girls, right?
I do. Yeah.
And how old are they?
Yeah, 16 and 13.
And how is that?
Good. Honestly, I feel very lucky. I think they are. I assume, and from what I have heard, it could be much worse. But of course, there is the natural. It's really cute. My youngest, when she was in about grade 4 or 5, and she was watching her older sister kind of become a teenager, she'd say things to me like, "Don't worry, mommy, I will never be like that. I promise you, I will always be nice to you." And I was like, okay. And now she's just like rolling her eyes and like, stomping away. And I'm like, oh well, it's such a funny. I feel like parenting teenagers is like just a lesson in like mean girls. It doesn't matter if they're girls or not, to be honest. I don't think, but the attitude and just the you have to have a thick skin.
Oh yeah.
And so being a feeler and being like easily stung, I'm like, I've really had to learn how to I don't know, shake that off. It's so hard some days.
It's hard.
They're so mean. And I'm like, yeah, but everything I do is for you. Does that matter?
And that's the thing too. Okay. It's like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, this is actually this is them detaching. I have a 17-year-old, 14, 12, and 9. And so it's like the older ones, I can feel them. They are calling me stupid on everything that I do. Even my driving, they're like, wow, mom, going 60 and a 40 or something like that. I'm not even going 60. So why stop?
Yes.
But they're constantly just telling me the way things actually are and the way things that they've realized is like, actually, mom, this is actually how the planets work, or something like that. And I'm like, that's really cool. I'm glad that you're into that.
Right.
I don't care. But no, I'm just kidding.
Like my oldest one time, she was like, I will not be eating bananas that aren't fair trade anymore. but I also am not going to grocery shop. So
Yes.
or pay for any of it.
Yeah, but these are my
very
demands.
Yes.
So I guess you're not eating bananas. Like, that's fine.
Right.
A lot of people don't eat bananas. They're the cheapest fruit ever, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I just,
Anyways, carry on. Yes, so they're pulling away now and just sort of.
Totally, but I think this is like the natural way for them, because Jace is going to go to university next year. So it's like the natural way for him to be like severing the cord so that he can go off and be his human.
Right. He
But I
needs to know
wish-
that you don't have all the answers. I think that's part of it, because I remember that, like, leaning on my parents, and I remember starting to realize, like, oh, they don't know everything.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not always right.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it just made me feel like a little bit and a little bit and a little bit more independent. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's totally important,
Totally.
because you are your own person. But I feel like even because we're both separated from their fathers, and I feel like that in itself was a huge. A friend of mine, she got divorced like maybe a year or two before me, and she said the hardest part is that you have to say goodbye to so much of
So
them,
much of their lives.
because you're like, for me, I stayed at home for 8 years with them, and even after we separated, a lot of my time was like I had them over 70% of the time.
Yeah, same.
So it was like my life was dedicated to raising these 4 humans. And then when they're gone and you're like, I don't know what's happening, and their dad isn't telling me anything, it's like this crazy cut, right?
Yes.
Like you now are not privy to a big portion of their life.
Yeah, which you do not sign up for.
You don't.
Ever.
No.
So it is that I completely agree, is the toughest part. Yeah. I've always said the same thing. Like, it's just the worst part is missing out on chunks of their time.
Yeah.
And the things they learn and the experiences they have. It is heart-wrenching still.
Yes.
But you do learn to sort of, I don't know what it is, like allow for that, but you do have to grieve it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely tried to tough guy it for a while, and that was not.
Good luck with that.
Right.
Did it work? Did it work for you?
No, it never does.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, I think it's neat too to be sort of honest with them about that a little bit too, because I remember one time my youngest asked me, do you sometimes wish that we could all live in the same house? Like, their dad had a new partner by then.
Yeah.
And she started asking some pretty intense questions around like grade 6. And she said, do you wish we could all like live together? And I was like, you know what? I don't, because while I miss you when you're gone, I never want to be away from you. I also know that if we hadn't decided to live separately, there wouldn't have been room for this woman to come into your life, and you love her, right? And she said, yeah, I do. And I was like, wow. So, I think that it's all really worked out the way it needed to.
Yeah.
And I said, sometimes people try to be together and it just isn't right. And that was a sufficient explanation for her, I guess, at that point. But I've always tried to be a little bit honest with them about how I feel about things, not in like a mopey, like I sit here and cry the whole time you're gone way.
Yeah.
There was a period where they started peer pressuring me to date more. And
really?
Yes, it was really cool. Like a few years ago, they both started, they would like point people out on the street. I'd say hi to someone with a dog, and then they'd be like, ooh, Mom.
There's no ring on that finger,
like,
Mom.
Guys, you don't have to do that. And then I asked them, like, why have you been starting to say stuff like this? And they said, well, we just don't want you to be alone when we're not here. I was like, oh, that's so nice. But also, I'm doing great when you're not here. Like,
a bath whenever I want to.
Right? Yeah. Sometimes I eat chips in my bed.
Ice cream for breakfast.
Right. And so it's an interesting thing to navigate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started dating a guy last year, and I remember just going into it because I'd seen guys, but nothing like really serious. And part of me was like, I'm ready to meet someone, but I'm like, actually, your life has zero room for anybody, so figure that out first. Anyhow, so I started dating this guy, and right away I told my kids, I'm like, look I started dating this guy. I really like him. He's really cool, but I don't know much about him yet, and so that's what dating is I'm just getting to know him. I don't know where this is going. It might not go anywhere, but I just want to let you know because he might text me and you might see stuff and whatever. And it's just like, that's just where I'm at. And I might be like kind of in my head or like whatever. I might feel differently. I just want to let you know that this is happening. And he's not your dad.
Yes.
And then every time I brought him up, Cade would be like, you mean dad? What's dad doing today? And he would totally do that.
Oh my God, like make a joke.
Oh my
That's
God.
so funny.
He's still,
That's great.
like we aren't seeing each other anymore, but it was like, and as soon as it was done, I was like, okay, so that's over. And then they're like, okay, well, are you going to keep dating? And I'm like, well, I'm open to it, but I'm not like, it's not, my life does not depend on this.
Yes. Which is great. I think it's brilliant to be honest about that stuff. I know people who completely hide it or only try and do it when when their kids are not around. And then you're right, there's like text, there's so many ways that could backfire.
Yeah.
And same, I'm tried to be just sort of honest with them about where something is at. And I'll say, like, I don't want to tell you anything about him yet because I want to just make sure that I feel comfortable even in the situation to begin with. And right from when they were young, like, it was always, if there was dating, I would, say the same thing. Like, this is never am I trying to find a replacement for your father.
Yeah.
You have a perfectly fine dad.
I want somebody much better.
Yes. And I'm like,
I don't want to replace that.
And I've told them straight up, I'm like, this is really about me at this point. And it's not, I don't need kids and I don't need his money. And I don't, it's really fun at this. It's like, if I feel comfortable, if someone adds some value to our lives and would be a good influence in your lives, great. Maybe they can be around. But otherwise, I'm in no rush.
Yeah.
No rush at all. Yeah. And I think it's cool. I think it's cool to be honest with them. I also think, for them to go through a grieving, I've been apart from their dad for like just over 10 years. So they were pretty little. And of course I have dated in that time. And 2 of those people were more serious and they were involved in the girls' lives briefly. Yeah. And I, some people are like, oh, are you sure you want them to be, you don't want them to be sad if this person ends up. I'm like, yeah, I do.
Life
it's
is
real
sad.
Freaking life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bringing in truckloads of these guys and like,
That'd be actually kind of funny. What about this one? No, go. Yeah. What about this one?
But yeah, I'm like, you know what? You got to learn that this is how it works. Because
they're going to date.
You try and it doesn't work. You try and it doesn't work. Cool. Oh, this one worked for like 2 years. Cool. And then it stopped working. Great. No big deal. Some people hurt each other sometimes. Sad, sure. But, not the end of the world. Yeah. Life goes on. I feel like that's one of the lessons I hope to teach is like, it's important to, even in my own marriage, like it was important to fight for this thing that I wanted and that I felt would be best for all of us. But then at some point, it was better for us to stop fighting and to, do what had to be done. So I don't know. I think you never know. I could be totally screwing it all up.
We're all screwing it all up. Like
daily.
we're the parents. We're why they're going to therapy when they grow up.
Exactly. That's what I always say. I'm like, everyone's going to go to therapy at some point. Like, And
it's almost always, it's almost always the parents, right? Like, this is what happened to me. This is what they didn't see. This is what, and it's like, you can try your best to do everything. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're working with what we got. Yeah. And so we're our parents and they made mistakes and we're all going to keep making mistakes and overcorrecting and undercorrecting. And it's just. And the world changes so much. Like, when I think about my parents, my mom got married at 18. She moved from a farm to Calgary at 16.
Oh my God.
Met my dad, got married at 18, had kids at 20, 22, 24. She was a kid.
Yes.
She was a kid raising us.
Yeah.
And it just became like, you're like, oh, wait a second, maybe I should give you a little bit of grace, a little bit of understanding that this is what you were dealing with and this is what you were trying to do in a different time. And
which is what the therapy's for. You find compassion.
Yeah, or friendship. I find friendship is good too for that.
Friendship is nice, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying to feel like equals a little bit in your experience at this point in life,
Oh my God, yeah.
I love that. I love being friends with my mom.
Oh, sorry, my mom. No, I'm not friends with my mom. No, just kidding, I'm joking.
Friends, you mean friends who help, yes.
I was referring to friends.
Yes.
I don't dislike my mother. My mother and I are friendly. We're friends. But I was meaning more like you and like Meg and like, my...
You can relate, yes. Yeah.
Yes, and we're like a lot of women are going through the same things, different ways and stuff, but it's very cool that we can all share it and like joke about it. Like, I just think of Meg and her potatoes.
I know. That was my favorite bit.
I make him his potatoes and he likes it because it's not expected.
Well,
right?
That's the thing is like that's what's nice. I think dating now is sort of this realization that we get to define it. Yeah. There is no right and wrong and perfect path and there's no rule book for how a relationship should look once you've had a divorce and a relationship and kids. It's like just, if it works, it works. If it means, watching one show together every second week, then great. Yeah. If it means booty calls twice a week, then that's what it is.
That's fun. That's fun. I mean, it's fun. That's fun too, I guess.
Yes, it is fun. Yeah. But as long as the 2 people involved agree on what's happening.
And can communicate. I feel like the communication's really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just not into not communicating. Like if you're not going to communicate, that's pretty easy to tell pretty quickly, I think, at this point. I feel like my filters are strong. Maybe too strong sometimes.
Where do you, are you online? Like, do you do dating apps or do you
A
just meet
little.
people,
I use one. My sister peer pressured me during COVID. And so I finally was like, fine, I'll try it. And I think it's interesting. At first, I hated it. I lasted like a week and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you. I felt like I was becoming a monster, just the swiping stuff. I was just like, I am not this I feel like a total jerk. Like just being like, nope, nope, nope. Crazy sunglasses. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Like I just like.
Oh, another fish. Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I got off of it, and then it was COVID. I was bored, frankly, and alone a lot more than I normally am. And I'm very extroverted, and I require people and conversations. And so I decided I would try it again, but this time from a place of purely curiosity, just curious. And then, it's fun to learn about just people, different people. I thought it was cool to like meet people I would just never otherwise cross paths with. Like some people we end up being like, oh, we know 20 of the same people. Right. Cool. But I think it's interesting. I don't know. I just go at it from everyone's trying their best. Everyone's looking for love and happiness and joy. And how does this person do it? Like I just love, I don't know. I find it fun to learn about people. So I've had some great interactions and then some weird ones. Yeah. I've been text yelled at for wasting someone's time. It's just, you never know.
Text yelled at. Like, what's the point? If you don't have the volume, the capital office really don't hurt me that much. Like,
oh my gosh, so funny.
Oh, that's great. And so, all of this stuff in your life, because your life is so varied in things that you do, does this all filter into your work?
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, even, people say things like, oh, well, massage must be your day job that you can't wait to get out of the second you're a successful artist. I'm like, first of all, what does any of that mean? Secondly, no, it actually informs each other and I love all of it. I'm very grateful to say that I love everything I do and I get something out of everything I do. But yeah, I often, I just recently had an experience, and this happens sometimes where a song like comes to me or a story or a bit or whatever comes to me while I'm massaging someone. And I think that's because it gives my brain this kind of space, like when I'm in a massage, when I'm really in the zone, or especially if it's, well, actually not even if it's relaxing. If I'm just sort of like beep, boop, beeping like science in my head, it's like it leaves this room for ideas and things come in. So recently I was in the middle of a massage near the beginning and this idea came and the words and it rhymed and I was just like, shit. And I was like,
how do you hold on to that?
I memorized it. I spent the whole hour memorizing it. Like going over and over, and a new part would come, and I'd be like, okay. So I go back to the beginning in my head, and meanwhile, like, thankfully, I've been doing massage for so long that I am able to multitask to that degree. But I actually also have some clients I was telling a client after that, this person happened to be fairly new, so I was like, I can't stop and go write something down. But the second they walked away from me, I ran into my massage room and I was like madly trying to get it all out. But then I told a client after that and she was like, oh, Sonia, don't worry. If you ever need to stop and write something when you're massaging me, go ahead. So it's nice. The worlds do collide and I do have a lot of support in all of those areas, which is nice. But yeah, some days it's also utterly overwhelming. But it definitely, I think the stories, the people, at the root of it all is people. Like I just love people and behavior and brains and hearts and figuring out why people are doing what they're doing and who they are. Yeah, it's my favorite.
And what's the song called?
Oh, I don't know yet. Oh. I don't know. It's still like bonking around up there. So we'll see. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool. And then one last thing is like you travel around doing your music. Mm-hmm. And then, so how did you, I just want to know your process, like quickly. Yeah. Your process of like how you became a singer-songwriter and how you build your networks and your everything in your band. I know your band's called The Dads.
The New Dads, we call them. Yeah. Which came from we were playing a show and I did a few songs solo and they were sort of watching. They were in the crowd crowd for a bit. And then after they said, we came up with an idea. And that was because 2 of them had just had babies, or their wives had babies. So, and then it stuck. I kind of love it. But, you know, I went to theater school after high school. Through high school and being a teenager, I got a job and paid for my own vocal lessons immediately, and I would sing in my parents' basement. I actually recently found a diary from when I was like 9 and 10 years old, and I didn't realize I wanted to sing it. Like now I didn't realize or remember that it was that early that I knew this. Yeah. But I was reading through there, and there's all these little like, dear diary, today mom da-da-dee-dee-dee. We went to the market and da-da-da-da. P.S. I still want to be a singer. Like,
P.S.
so cute.
The
Yeah,
actual
P.S.
essence of you. All the stuff is like the important thing. Price of milk is.
Yeah, right?
But
oh my
yes,
gosh.
this is what my heart and soul desire.
Yeah, but I didn't know. And so so through high school, I sang in all the choirs, started singing in church initially. I was very shy, so that was the beginning of it. And then morphed into musical theater. My high school was really sort of an arts high school in Ontario. And then I came and went to theater school. Then I moved to Jasper and I started a theater company there. But then I also started my first band, and it just sort of like, music was always sort of there. I got a guitar in high school, fiddled around with it a bit, but then left it. And then I had my first kid at 23 years old. So like my 20s were spent parenting as well. And I really dropped a lot of that. Like I was in one choir, I'd put on the odd play, but otherwise I really was not doing much. And I was not happy. Yeah. I was not doing enough. And so, and my, you know, through my just being married and having it there was a lot of reasons why I sort of let a lot of that go. And then when we separated, it was like early 2013 that I moved back here. And I was like, wow, I really miss performing. I miss because at that point I was sort of doing more directing, producing with the company. And so I got an agent. I decided to like dive in, took a couple of film classes, took a couple of voiceover classes. And I knew that if I got to the end of my life and I did not just give art a proper shot, I would regret it. And so, then it's just been sort of rolling since then. And music really, at this point, is the focal point for me. It's the place that I feel at home. Like if on stage, mic in my face, singing a song that is mine is where I feel most myself and most comfortable in the world. And just, I believe it's bigger than me too. It's never been like just, I want to be famous, or, you know, it's a need, and it's the way I share. I feel like it's a way that I can help healing. I think there's a lot to it, and the stories and the feedback and stuff. I just think, interacting with audiences and sharing with people is just why I'm here. So it's, I don't feel I have a choice, but I also love that.
I don't have a choice, but I want it, and I love it. That's a pretty great place to be.
Yeah. I feel very lucky. Every time I get to participate, I feel lucky to be a part of it. So.
Yeah, amazing. Such a great attitude to have.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and talking with me. I'm so glad that we met and that we get a chat and stuff like that and get to do this together.
Totally,
and
I agree.
Best of luck, and I will be out I saw you at the farmer's market, at the night market too in Inglewood.
I know. Yeah.
I'm always like, hey friends, my friend is playing. Let's go.
Now I just need to make it out to a improv or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, do that, or just watch a sketch online.
I've done that.
Okay, perfect. That's the way I like to be supported.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Me sugar. If you enjoyed this episode, I think you're going to really enjoy Firecracker Department with Naomi Sneakus, where she talks to fellow actors, writers, and producers and gets the skinny on their struggles, successes, and everything in between. Available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube.